Welcome back everybody. Now firstly, sorry this video is delayed. I did try to get a video out on time on Friday, but the truth is I've been traveling in the motorhome across Europe and yeah, I just didn't have the time. I was riding for like 10 hours every single day, coming back to the motorhome, being too exhausted to even consider any editing. But hopefully it is worth it, guys. Now, if you remember the last video, I was in Davos with Pete and our guide Jay, and we rode some flow trails and we rode a bike park, which was awesome. Some of the best trails I've ever ridden. Now, a few people asked if we rode any natural trails, and yep, we sure did. We rode quite a few. Now, Davos, as you've seen from the last video, provided some of the best flow trails I've ever ridden in my life. The natural trails, yep, they didn't disappoint either. It probably helped that we had amazing dirt over the weekend. It had rained ever so slightly, so the dust had gone and been transformed into hero dirt, which was awesome. And Jay knew what we wanted to ride, so he took us on some amazing trails, super high speeds, some technical stuff, some wooden stuff, some high altitude stuff, and it was awesome. Anyway, this is too much chat, not enough riding, so let's get into this straight up to the top of a mountain. Okay, so we start this video at the top of Jacob's Horn, which is the mountain with the main gondola right outside our hotel. So it made sense to start on these trails. Now from the off, pretty much headlong here, straight onto an exposed ridge. Now I don't know what the altitude was here, but there were certainly some big drops and you don't want to fall down the edge. As you're about to see, the ridge does get fairly tight. Now it was also pretty cold up here, which you see I'm wearing some long sleeves, although this did come back to bite me, as I'll explain in a minute. But until then, just enjoy these views. I mean, look at it, absolutely insane. Also was a little bit sketchy down here as well, pretty loose, and like I said, you don't want to go down either side of this ridge. I actually really enjoyed this little bit. But yeah, soon turned uphill, and this is where the cold weather came back to bite me. Pete decided that, yep, he's going to ride up all the way to the top of this next little hill, and this was steep, really steep, and because Pete wasn't going to push, I wasn't going to push. The only issue was come straight from the warm valley at the bottom, straight up to the cold, and breathing heavily, and I got a cold because of this. My throat was killing in the morning, and yeah, gave myself a cold for the next week, which was not ideal, not worth it. Now this video is going to be fairly stop-start because we were on a photo shoot, so Pete often went on ahead, told us to pedal at him, he'll take the photos, and then we'll stop, make sure he's got the photo and see if he wants to go again. So if you see a few cuts like this one, then basically, yeah, that means that we've stopped, got the photo, and then it's time to continue. And that's why you'll see myself and Jay, the guide, swapping places every now and then again. Now, like I mentioned in the last video, Jay was an awesome rider, super quick, knows his trails, and was a good one to follow. I certainly wouldn't be going this fast if I was just on my own, and it is super rough as well, so I was pretty scared about getting a puncture. This is a total plug. I've got my rim packed tubeless inserts in there in a minute, and yeah, they proved to be pretty damn good. Now it had actually been a little bit wet overnight, so the soil and dirt was nicely moist. It was pretty much hero dirt territory. Super grippy, you could turn like mad, you could brake super quickly, and oh, it was absolutely wonderful. And I was pretty stoked to manage to keep feet up through the snow. And this is the first time properly riding on alpine snow like this. Obviously I've seen the mega avalanche in the past, and I've seen those guys ride on the snow, and I thought, it doesn't look that hard. I've seen, you know, Fabio ride on ski resorts, and he makes it look quite easy. What I failed to realise was there's a difference between a ski resort with nicely packed pristine slopes to that of melting alpine snow, which is super soft and horrible. So yeah, it wasn't the last time we were going to ride through snow, but yeah, it was super hard, So yeah, stoked to get through that one, feet up. Now there's lots of tight switchbacks on this trail, which is a great chance to get my trouser skills out. Trying to endo the bike around, make them look cool. And once again, Jay was great to follow down here. Really, really cool trail, nice to get a bit of speed. And again, I would not be going this fast if I wasn't following him.
Okay, I think I'm gonna stop here.
Although saying that, I waited for Pete a little bit and then Jay wasn't to be in sight, so this was pretty much as fast as I dare go down this. Pretty stoked on how the Santa Cruz 5010 was handling. 130mm travel. You know, I was a bit worried it wasn't going to be enough for the alpine riding, but proved to be pretty damn good.
So I wasn't quite sure where he meant to stop.
At this point, Pete went on ahead and let us come down. He wanted me in front for the photos, so that's what I did. Didn't know this trail at all, riding is completely blind even, and yeah, ended up getting quite steep in tech. Still really good fun though. So we got the photos and let Jay go up ahead again. So it's quite good to follow someone and get them on camera as well. It gives someone, when you're watching the video, someone to focus on, which I think works quite well. I often try to get nice and close so you guys can really see what's going on. Sometimes I get too close, or sometimes they're a fast ride and I struggle to keep up. But either way, it's quite good to have a subject up ahead. One thing I noticed about these alpine trails is they have a lot of straights in them. Obviously there's a lot of hairpins as well, but in the UK I find because our hills and mountains are a little bit smaller, they tend to put a lot more corners in them. Or if they do point straight down, they tend to be steep but really short, whereas in the Alps they have lots of straights. And yeah, I absolutely love that. It means you can get up quite a nice bit of speed, get the wind in your hair, and yeah, they're generally just pretty fun. Just had a little stop there to see if Pete wanted to take a photo of this bit. So then we're straight on it again, and yeah, starting to get more down into the woods and trees a little bit now. So it's nice to have a bit of a change of scenery. And once again, good to get a bit of speed, stoked with how the bike's riding. Yeah, everything was coming together this day. Stoked on that corner as well. Tried to avoid doing a pivot around it. Ended up kind of just drifting the back wheel around it. It felt so nice. One thing I did find was that when we started getting lower, the track actually started to get a little bit rougher, which is a bit weird. You think the lower you go, the more groomed the trails would be, but no, it ended up being super rough. And yeah, arm pump hasn't really been too much of an issue on this ride, but yeah, on this bit, from now on, I was starting to struggle just a little bit. The good thing was that Jay was also getting it as well, so I didn't feel so bad. Yeah, we both had to have a bit of a stop there, let our arms recover a little bit, and yeah, straight back into it. And you can see what I mean about it being rough. This was, yeah, pretty tough to ride. And also it was a little bit wet with the river crossings and with it being in the woods, so some of this stuff was pretty slippery as well. And yeah, the roughness not relenting. By the time we got to the bottom of this, my arms were burning like mad. But as long as Jay kept on going, I tried to keep on going as well.
Now this is tech. Yeah, nice one.
Yeah, that was super rough and super hard to ride fast, but that was pretty fun.
Might just have a
By the way, have I mentioned these Swiss gates to stop the cows from coming through, but allowing riders to go through pretty fast? They're awesome. Need more of those around the world.
Oh, pedals.
So once again, stopped for some photos for Pete, and then yep, straight back on it. Although we're now pretty down near the bottom, so in fact you can see it just there. So just this last little bit to go. Arms are burning, but keep on holding on for a little bit longer, and it'll be all right. And it was.
Sweet. Oh, nice rocks.
Yeah, cute one. The next morning we decided to go over to Klosters, and this was actually the day we rode the bike park, which was in my previous video. We also went up and rode, and I think this is right, Jay sent me a message, so if I've got this in the wrong order I apologise, but I think this is the Schlappen Trail, which is absolutely a brilliant name. And yeah, this was brilliant. Super high up, and the clouds were amazing this day. As you can see, we had some low-lying stuff. It was moving around nicely, clearing up, revealing amazing views, and yeah, the trails were awesome as well. Again, super natural, super rough, good dirt, even though it was a little bit sunnier today. And yeah, this was flipping awesome. The only thing that wasn't awesome was, like I mentioned, I was feeling super rough today from riding the steep uphill yesterday in the cold. So yeah, I was not feeling too good, but as soon as I got on the bike, kind of forgot about it, and yeah, just enjoyed the ride anyway. Now this trail wasn't as fast as yesterday's just because of how rough it was. It was a little bit more of a traditional hiker's trail, so yeah, not exactly designed for speed, but pretty tech in places and still just as fun. I don't necessarily have a favourite type of trail. As long as I don't have to pedal too much, then yeah, I'm happy. So yeah, maybe not as fast, but still just as fun.
No, it's so nice with the clouds.
We're just waiting, making sure Pete goes the right way here. But as soon as the clouds cleared, this place was magnificent.
Like a hidden valley. That is nice.
So Pete went on quite far ahead here, and once again I'm leading just for the photos. So this is as fast as I dared go on this. Still fairly happy with the speed. Bike was riding nicely, and yeah, still pretty fun. I don't think Jay had any problems keeping up with me. Some interesting lighting choices down here as well. I had no idea what was coming up, but managed to get down, and I'm happy with how it went. As you can see, this is a hiker trail as well, so I had to be careful of other users. Fortunately, this was nice and open, so you could see for quite a while and make sure there was no one coming. So yeah, no collisions, which was awesome.
Oh, rough. Now where's he taking us?
The only bad thing about this trail was that it ended up being in a bit of a bog. So this trail, yeah, took us directly through a bog, which to be fair, I cut out of the video just because it was a bit boring. So once we through the bog, ended up back into the woods, heading down the valley, and yeah, the trail was a little bit faster down here. A little bit slippier too, but still really good fun.
I got something in my eye.
You also notice anytime we come to any water or what I think is going to be a puddle, I normally do a little wheelie or just lift the front wheel over. That's just to try and make sure I don't get any water droplets on the GoPro. So just trying to keep the camera clear, make it better to watch for you guys. Now from this point on was pretty fun. Wasn't as rough or technical as some of the other trails I've been riding, but watching Jay, he pretty much just let off his brakes, let it rip, so I decided to follow him. And yeah, I was fairly terrified for most of this bit. Speed on a bike isn't something I get to do very often. In Scotland you get up to speed, but it doesn't last very long because the hills are a bit shorter, but this was a prolonged high-speed trail. Wasn't super steep, but if you just let your brakes off, your bike would fly. Fortunately, because it wasn't so rough, it means that you still had pretty good control, but there's certainly some points where I was holding on for dear life, let's say. And yeah, once I got to the bottom, I realised it was pretty fun, but while I was doing this, I was concentrating pretty hard. I think if you were super brave and trusted your tyres, you could just be brakeless from the very top. There's no super sharp corners, so I think if you were real trusting of your tyres, I think you could make it all the way down.
Holding on for dear life down that. Wow. Oh, that was fast.
Lots of humbling and tumbling.
I was like, this had better end soon because I'm not going to hold on for much longer.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Cool, so there you go everyone, that was Davos, and what a place. Switzerland has not disappointed. The riding there is amazing, and Davos continued that theme. The flow trail we rode, the bike park we rode, the natural trails we rode were all the best I've ever ridden in my life, and I can highly recommend going to Davos. It is awesome. If you do go to Davos, I can highly recommend Jay as a guide. He is in Jay's His Days on Instagram. I'll link him below. So yeah, if you go there, get in touch with him and he'll take good care of you. I want to say a huge thanks to the local tourist board for putting us up while we were there. You guys treated us super nicely as well. Now, if you liked this video and you do want to see more riding, like less cut stuff and extra footage, then I encourage you to check out my Patreon. I will be uploading exclusive content on there. Now, this isn't the end of our Switzerland trip. From Davos, we actually then drove over to Flims and Lax, which was another awesome trip, which I have yet to edit. So look out for that in a future video. I really hope you enjoyed this one. I really hope you go visit Davos, and yeah, thanks for joining me. Get out, ride your bikes, have fun, and I'll catch you all next time. So cheers everyone, see you later, bye bye.